Sander scrying, keeping his opening 6 as we are off to the races. Submerged boneyard. And the funny thing is, I was about to say, we call this control, but it's very much on the board what's happening during these matches. It's Dusk Legion Zealots, it's little value creatures, it's blinking, and then settling into a more control aspect where cards are out form of counterspell and blink effect. Very different game than you might expect from the regular standard match. We have the Renegade map. Jelle. And the Sailor of Means. These are all the usual suspects. The Mean Sailor. Such a good stop sign. Aggro, but also just to negate the effect that these little guys have. Jelle coming in them. You don't really mind having them in the graveyard because that gives food for your Scarab Rod later. And of course, if you have turn to type, you have revolt effects. Better. Another Sailor hits the table for Sander. Sound falls away regularly for me. Apparently there's some sort of issue with that. I don't know where exactly, because my software is saying that the sound is coming through fine. There's nothing I can change or edit. In between the next game, I might try to switch out one of the USB ports if that's the problem. Really sorry, this issue is occurring. Golden Demise for Sander to clean up the board. And that's the funny thing in this matchup, is that even though it's a control matchup, Golden Demise stays pretty good. It clears away all these value creatures like the Cloud Blazer we had just seen merge in Jelle's deck, which is probably the one that Sander is missing the most. Grixis build rather than the Esper builds that we. A lot of people have started calling the archetype Scarab Blazers, or the crazy synergy between Cloud Blazer and Scarab. And there we have the Gifted Etherborn. Sander survives Golden Demise, trades with anything, gives you life against Mono Red. Settling into a very comfortable mid-game where Jelle, because of the draw effects that he's had, is a bit more advantaged. So if we had an advantage bar, it would be pointing slightly at Jelle. Supreme Will in the draw option for Sander to dig deeper. Try to find some answers. He has the creatures now, gets to put a little pressure and force Jelle into responding first. It's actually really interesting that we have the Gifted Etherborn as a focus for Sander, because the Vengeful Rebel is the perfect foil to it. The Revolt trigger kills Gifted Etherborn and it trades with a second copy of it. bit of a rock, paper, scissors idea happening. If Gifted Etherborn becomes better, then Vengeful Rebel becomes more interesting to play. Never thought of it up to now. Almost feels like old tech, the Vengeful Rebel, which was a mainstay in the more blinky decks. To see it again here in a new setting and in a new environment is actually really interesting, because it completely changes where that creature spot is in this particular matchup. Jelle is on a 4-turn clock, so has to make sure he gets back into this game very soon. What's the name of the little artifact that could? Sky Scanner. Typing Sky Span. Thinning his deck, getting a land off that Renegade map. And gets a land. I think Golden and not so good against Thunder here. Only kills the 24 life total. Thunder getting the advantage right now. Mostly based on the pressure he has, but there's the Vengeful Rebel. With a choice. So he could take out the Sky Scanner and offer the trade, but he knows with the Gifted Etherborn, but he knows that at this point it's quite unlikely that that Vengeful Rebel actually will be. So goes for the highest priority target first. Fatal Push is the response. We had quite a few options to deal with this. Ooh, but we have Acrobatic Maneuver here for Jelle, getting a pretty big effect, countering that Fatal Push there, and will be taking out another creature. Well, the Sky Scanner. That's the only thing. If Sander doesn't have a response, we have the Supreme Will here that Jelle can pay for. So now Jelle choosing to pay for it, taps him down completely, which will give Sander free reign in turn. See that Sander has a Ravenous Chupacabra hiding in that hand. The Filthy Cur is back. There's a blink of an eye there. Yeah, blink of an eye. Counter the maneuver. Blink of an eye counter. Ooh, and in that window gets a Liliana Death's Majesty. I'm up early. Yeah, we're in the round 3 already, man. Been quite busy. So Milzen gets a zombie back on Jelle. Find and Sander polishes it. That sounds dirty. Polishes his zombie. 10 viewers. We have some other people that are already awake. Master of Shadows. That's kind of funny. I actually hope that my my announcer thingy is working. But in the meantime, Jelle scoops them up. Has no answer to Liliana Death's Majesty. Was already on 9. So didn't exactly have a lot of time to back, as they both choose to go to the sideboards for a change of deck. which is really important for Jelle. Some people might say that he scooped early here, but it's actually a time-saving decision because he needs to have time to be able to finish 2 matches. But first I'm gonna change the USB ports in the hopes that that improves the microphone. Alright, check. Alright, it seems like to be a bit more stable. Looks like I'm a little louder as well, so it might have been the USB port extender that I was using. I hope the sound is more stable as well now. Much better. Okay, and louder. Maybe I'm also a bit more enthusiastic. Chair out of the picture. Focus on me. I'm the important one here. Can't share the spotlight now. Go. Alright. So, having a look at the sideboard. For Jelle, we see 3 Duress, 3 Negates, 2 Blessed Light, 1 Forsake the Worldly, a Fungal Infection, a Misa Unicorn, 1 Plague Mare, a Golden Demise, and 2 Moment of Craving. Probably gonna see the Duress and the Negates. For Sander, we have 1 Plains, 4 Negate, 1 Essence Scatter, 3 Duress, 2 Fungal Infection, 2 Final Reward, and 2 Forsake the Worldly. So again, expecting to see Negates and Duresses, maybe even, probably even the Essence Scatter. But what do they take out? I didn't see how many cards these players sideboarded, but I am expecting those to be the cards. Just need 1 second. Alright, we had a little bit of a discussion with the judge about minutia and details, penalties at the beginning of the round. Could be as well that we have a bit of a sound gate on the microphone, so let me know if I'm still dropping off or cutting very abruptly. Duress, the first of the game, hitting, ooh, and hitting a very, very sweet target there. Players are writing down the hand, but I already know what is going to get picked here. Unless he has multiple in his hand. It's excellent now. Okay, very good. So now you can listen to my smooth, silky voice describing the inner workings. It's fascinating. Interaction of control players in Gentry. My prediction came true. Liliana hits the graveyard. Have fatal push, press. Think of something else left. Hand now. The rest goes in the other direction as well. Gets a lot less juicy a target. The only legal target, a supernatural stamina. We have a Gonti hiding in hand. Frustrating things to see happen to you is Gonti that gets blinked a few times, especially in Gentry, because eventually they start stealing your your rares and mythics, and it's just so disheartening to be playing against your own good cards. Yeah, developing pressure rebel here, not even milking the removal. Rebel, the answer is a sky scanner, while the counter wall is down. Jelle going for pressure, gets a second duress, finds negate supreme will fit. Think a lot of interesting. Goes for the supreme will, so goes for the flexible. It's a lot harder for Sander to get the revolt on the fatal push. Has no renegade. Has to rely on evolving wild or combat. Get that online. Top decks gifted Etherborn. Definitely in the top 5. Dropping again. There's nothing I can do about it then, I'm afraid. I'm really sorry about this. Sander has his red mana for when he top decks that Nicol Bolas the Ravager. And you see the trade with the Vengeful Rebel. I think there's a sound gate on it for some reason. I can put it closer, but I would rather just kill the sound gate. But I don't know how. In this one, filters, got it. No filter applied. Okay, so I removed the sound gate. The chopping where it suddenly turns off should be gone now. It's a setting I use at home to drown out my keyboard. Okay, so we see one of the more signature cards in the Blink deck here, Aviary Mechanic. There we go. So we'll have more background sound now, but at least it'll be constant. Blink of an eye with kicker on the Aviary Mechanic. As Jelle is really struggling to develop his mana, Sander keeps churning them out. Thank God his hand is very reactive. Jelle knows this from the multiple duresses, and we have another duress to look at his hand. Wow, that is full of gas. 2 negates and Hostage Taker, Cloud Blazer, Gonti, Chupacabra, and I don't know what the card behind the Chupacabra was. Fatal Push takes care of the Aviary Mechanic. Sander now knows that his draw, which is quite floody, will be struggling very soon, and the struggle might start right here, right now, depending on the 2 cards that Sander has. Gonti is the choice for Jelle. Let's see what he hits. Keeping the cards out of view, so we don't know either. It's gonna be a big surprise for everybody. Flips it nicely face down so we can't see it either. If only people had more awareness about the needs of a stream, of the audience. Sky Scanner, the little artifact that could keeps coming in. Apparently there was a point of damage missed there earlier as they ticked it down. 2 gifted Etherborn, there we go. Typing's hard. And a Chupa. So the Filthy Cur comes in, takes out the gifted Etherborn, and this is the age-old story of Flood versus Crew. At the end of the Flood, you're the player with an empty hand playing against the guy that finally gets to play his cards. So a pretty big deal. Chooses to negate the rest here, so I'm not sure which of those two he already had in hand, but he has a pretty nice sequence set up here. You can actually return. Wow, I think I would have played Eldest Reborn here. If we wants the Gonti off the table. Yeah, there's less recursion. There's not so much recursion in these decks. But this way he misses the value play of bouncing the Eldest Reborn with the trigger on the stack. Ooh, he drew into his Nicol Bolas though. So that could be a pretty big play for him. Jelle, Jelle now has the Chupacabra and a lot of value still left in his hand. I think Cloud Blazer would be... Yeah, my play would have been Cloud Blazer in this slot, but maybe he has something open for the follow-up. I'm not sure why the Sailor of Means went to the graveyard there. We call the Ravager. Can be fatal pushed if Jelle has that. Has the Evolving Wilds and a Swamp open. Seems to be the most likely candidate for a follow-up play, considering that he chose not to play the Cloud Blazer there. Let's see what actually happens. Is looking what might come back from the Eldest Reborn. Yeah, that's pretty relevant as well. So no fatal push right here, right now. The discard Sailor of Means was from the Eldest Reborn. Yeah, makes sense. Sander will be able to flip that Nicol Bolas next turn if Jelle lets him. So that would be a pretty big turnaround for him. In the tank here, there's a lot of options. Both players have a lot of future scenarios. Sanders are very open and on the table, but extremely flexible. Jelle is pinched on his mana still. Can't really just deploy the plan as he wants to. Has to make a lot of value-based decisions here. It's very understandable that they want to take a little bit of extra time. It's gonna be a 4 mana Hostage Taker. Yep, that makes it so that it cannot be returned with the Eldest Reborn to force him to discard another spell. Only has 1 blue source, so can't threaten other things. Like the negate, we know he has in hand. I think Sander also knows. Liliana hits the table here and will start churning out, I assume, zombies, since the reanimate options currently aren't that interesting. Of course, we don't know what Sander has in his hand. And the funny thing about the Nicol Bolas is I'm pretty sure that he takes red mana. He could make red mana with the treasures from Sailors, but it returns under its owner's control. So if he were to activate that ability, it would actually be Sander that gets his... wow. So Sky Scanner was returned with Liliana. Sander going for the high risk, high reward play here instead of trying to stabilize on the ground. As this, by playing the zombie, he would have, by choosing to get a zombie, he would have stopped the Chupacabra from attacking and net only lose 1 loyalty on the Liliana. Of course, then the Nicol Bolas comes out, so he really wanted to top deck something to remove that hostage taker, but I think that that was a bit of a greedy play. Jelle still with just 1 blue mana available. Four mana. He's still sandbagging that Cloud Blazer there. So we get the Ravager, forces a discard. Sander had it ready. We just saw the little flash of the Tiara there. Which is our King of the Hill marker. If you have it and you get defeated, you lose it, and the person who defeated you gets a booster. If you win while wearing the Tiara, a random booster gets given away to a player in the tournament. It's a cute little extra we have going during our Gentry leaderboard and opens. And here we have Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Less synergy than we see in Standard. There's no... Search of Ascanta is underpowered compared to other options in your rare and mythic slot. But still, of course, a very powerful planeswalker. Also, not irrelevant, this doubles up his blue mana sources. So he now can play a blue spell and tap a blue card. And this time it's Sander who prematurely scoops them up, realizing that being able to finish the next game is just as important to the outcome of this match. So let's see if these players actually go back to their sideboards to adjust based on whether they're starting or not. Oh, we have apparently a lot of lurkers in the chat. It's funny how the view counter and the list of users in my chat is not always the same thing. So apparently you can lurk without viewing according to Twitch, which I find very, very interesting. So while these guys are shuffling up, we can have a little look at the meta game. I was counting the number of Scarab Gods, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 17, 18, 19, 19. So I have 19 Scarab God decks, and then the second most popular is Mono Red with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 8.5. Yep. 19 and 8.5. 19 Scarab gods are in this tournament. I'm guessing that it will be quite a relief for a lot of people if that card rotates out in a month's time. Both players in the meantime going to mulligan. I think they're going to 6. Not sure about their the time in the round. Het lukt wel, maar ik ga je niet als speler bij deklijsten zetten.
Ja, ik kan alle twee deksten onderuit.
Time in the round? Time in the round? Kun je eens vragen? So we're looking to see what the time in the round is. Yeah, it's around 10 minutes, so if it's a fast game, they should still be able to finish. If not, then we'll have the end of round squeeze. I think Sander stayed on 6 cards. Jelle replacing a sleeve here. I'm not sure if Jelle is mulliganing down to 5. If anyone in the chat paid attention, I just got distracted here for a second. Okay, I guess we'll find out now. Be unfortunate if this match gets decided. Yeah, 5 cards of mulligans. Jelle is on the draw, so he will have that 1 extra card of advantage. Also, don't forget that he managed to crawl out a pretty deep hole in the previous game, being stuck on lands. Ooh. We have Teferi, Duress as 2 targets. So Teferi getting hit. Based on what's in Sander's hand, the decision could be very different. Like if you have a second Duress and another good card in your hand, I could totally understand him taking the Duress. I didn't see... Yeah. Jelle doesn't have access to black mana right now, and a hand full of black cards. Double swamp. I'm guessing gifted Etherborn coming in here to start putting pressure on Jelle. Yep. It's like I knew. Third land off the top, that's good. It's not a black mana producing land though. As we watch a struggling Jelle. Doesn't get it, but I think that was a hieroglyphic illumination for him. So he'll get to dig a little deeper. If it is, he chose not to cycle it, waiting for land number 4. And in the meantime, that Gifter Etherborn does his job. Cost a 12-point life swing already at this point. Jores gets blink, blink or blink. And that's the second gifted Etherborn coming off the top. So this game might just end naturally. Jelle does have his 4 mana available now. And gets a Vengeful Rebel without the Revolt. Yeah. And Sander Smells Blood. Pushes his opponent down to 8. Jelle's just going to looked like he was gonna bounce there, but apparently has the Essence Scatter, which will get negated. But now Sander still has the Blink of an Eye. Kicks it to draw a card. And then has Jelle down to a single attack. Ooh, that is huge. That means he gets the Revolt, gets to kill one on the way in. Yep, Vengeful Rebel with an Evolving Wild. Stops the assault. Oh, but we have an Eldest Reborn. Which might just end the game here. Unless Jelle has a very impressive follow-up. I think there's a Ravenous Chupacabra there. Yep. Eldest Reborn ticking up, doing his card advantage grind, and there's a very threatening Sky Scanner now. Quite capable of finishing the game right here. And another Gifted Aetherborn. Next turn, that Eldest Reborn will bring something back as well. Four mana with a fetch. We see the Scarab God chilling out, max and relax, no cool on the bottom of the library there. Just goes like from the bottom. Quack. That's all she said. We need to get rid of the Sky Scanner. And even the Gifted Aetherborn at this point is a problem. Because that Chupacabra can only chump block it. Ooh, Blessed Light. Blessed Light here. Is going to need help still. Because he's still in chump block and go to lethal from the Sky Scanner mode. So far from free. And add duress to make sure the table is clear. Needs to top deck an answer to the second Sky Scanner, or it's GG's. It might be G, it might be GG. Ah! Oh, and the Essence Scatter is waiting for the Scarab God. So, a Scarab God mirror match that got decided without a Scarab God ever hitting the table. And Sander keeps his tiara, goes to 3-0. Well on his way to secure a spot in that top 8. Should be able to get in if he wins the next round and chooses to draw the 2 after that.